Well, see this drawing? Well, apparently the inspector from Wake County saw it too, and he asked me where this right here is, these 4-foot long knee braces, I guess they call it. And also, right here in the notes, it says it basically will be double framed on the gable ends. Well, that's the gable end, both sides of the end, and they're single. Now the sides are double, and what that means is the legs, there's 2 legs here, see? They're welded. So the sides are fine, but the gable ends here are single. Now, it shouldn't make any difference whatsoever, except that it doesn't meet the drawing, which I had to pay extra for Wake County, and there's no, this brace here, it's supposed to be over here, there's no brace. So basically he looked at the drawing, he said, you don't have these, and it's not double on the ends, so I'm not gonna pass it. So, failed another inspection. First time the framing failed because the one inspector didn't even say anything about that. The electrical rough end wasn't done. That was done the same day, but he just came too early that morning. And now this inspector, I guess, is a little more thorough, and he said, oh, you don't have those pieces. He says, probably gonna be fine, but you gotta have either the drawing updated that's stamped by Wake County, says it's okay like it is, or the company's gotta come back and do it to the drawing, which is what I paid for. And I'm kinda mad because I paid an extra $3,000 when I told them it had to be certified, which means it's gotta pass inspection, have all these drawings. So, yeah. Last thing, these 3 insulated doors are supposed to have what they call a DP rating. I guess it's a wind load rating, and there's nothing on there. There's no decal sticker or anything. So unfortunately, that's gotta be done as well. The good news is in about an hour and a half, the electrical inspector is gonna be here to do the final sign off on the electrical. So hopefully he can pass that with the framing needing a re-inspection. I'm hoping that he can. But this is just an aggravating thing because somebody didn't do their job, and now I'm having to have it re-inspected, which means I got to take off work, I got to be here. Typically after you have one re-inspection, they start charging you to come back. All right, well, what I didn't talk about earlier this week was my framing inspection failed. And the reason it failed the second time, the first time was because the electrical rough end wasn't done, which was a whole nother story. But the electrical is all passed now. The final inspection for the electrical's done and passed. The framing failed, and the reason it failed was for 2 things. One, the gable ends needed double legs. And what that means is, this is a single leg, and this is a double leg. So this is the extra pieces that Vega brought out to install to make it a double leg. Now they came out the other night and they only put in 3, and hell, they didn't even attach this 3rd one. Also, there's what they call a knee brace, which is a 4-foot piece of bracing that goes right up here, and it goes between the roof line and the side. Now, is it really necessary? Probably not, because my walls already were double bracing, okay? But it's on the drawing, and the Wake County inspector said, you don't have it, I'm gonna fail it. Very, very aggravating. So anyway, Edgar from Vega came out the other night. Unbeknownst to me, he called 30 minutes before he was gonna arrive, which made me mad because I didn't have time to get the cars out. The yard's all tore up where they were getting ready to do the concrete, so there's no way I could get the cars out. I came in, his crew had ladders all around my cars. They were drilling shit and had metal flying. I had metal on my car covers. Needless to say, I was very upset. So they worked about an hour and a half and then they knocked off for the night. They did the knee braces that go all the way down this wall to here, and they did those 3. They attached 2, they didn't finish the 1. So I had them leave the material. Today is Saturday. It's about 9:45 in the morning. So what I'm doing today is I'm gonna finish the work because number 1, I don't want them back. I'm tired of those guys being here. They've been here multiple times, as you know, to fix the roof leaks, just to fix the screws, and they didn't finish, and the windows that leaked, and all this crap. Long story short, I've addressed pretty much all that. I've got the windows to quit leaking. I put my own caulking around it. I put caulking around my floor. I thought it was clear, it ended up being white, so I had to go with it. I already started putting it down, but that's kept a lot of the moisture out of here. The concrete outside is done now. So just to go ahead and get this thing done so I can schedule the framing inspection, I've got the knee brace pieces here and I'm putting them up. Now I watched them struggle the other night. There's ways to make your job easier. They were literally holding it up there and trying to drill through both pieces of metal. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my drill bits here and I'm going ahead and drilling a pilot hole, right? I'm drilling a hole all the way through it there. So when I get up here, and I've already mounted the one, I just take my chuck here with the screw in it, goes right through the hole, hold up in place, boom, it is installed and ready to go. So I've got the brace here. I've got to continue down where you see each leg that comes down. I've got to put a brace, another one here. I think they've got enough for me to go all the way down. Hopefully they do. And I can finish the knee bracing. From there, I have these pieces here, which will go along the wall. There's longer pieces outside for me to do. Most of them I gotta cut the length to be exactly right. And of course, my ladder won't reach all the way up there where I need to go. So I've got my regular ladder, I'll have to lean against it. Now to cut these to length, I've got a chop saw at work. I can chop these up, give them the right length and put them up there, because trying to do this with a hacksaw is gonna be just futile. It's gonna take forever. This is pretty thick stuff. But anyway, just wanted to share with you, again, the escapades here of trying to get this shit finished. It is ridiculous. But again, is that really necessary up there for the structural integrity? I mean, maybe if a tornado hurricane comes through, it would make that little bit of difference to keep the structure that much more intact. Sure, you know, the problem I've got with that is if I decide to do any drywall or anything in the future, that's gonna be a real bear to try to drywall around that. And it's gonna be out in protruding through the drywall unless I do some kind of kick out and try to do the drywall like that. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks, but it is what it is. That's part of the drawing to get inspected. Once the inspection's over, I might do something different later. But for now, I just gotta get this thing inspected for the framing, and then I can do the final inspection. So I'm like this close to finishing everything. All right, so I want to give you an update. That's what I'm doing now. And here's the progress so far. Only one in for now, but I'm getting ready to knock it out and take care of this myself. So I have less people in here and less chance of an opportunity for somebody to drop a ladder on my car, drop the tools on my car, put metal shavings on my cars. You know how it is. Just some people are car people, some people aren't. Real car people know not to work around your damn car and would have asked me to move the cars over, which I would gladly have done. But either way, that's what we got. All right, so they got me again. So I've got my knee braces up. You'll notice I got one here on the end. I got one down there on the end, and I got 3 in the middle, but I'm missing one here and one there because they didn't leave enough. Go figure. Typical. So anyway, so apparently now I gotta call Edgar and say, hey man, I'm doing your work for you that you should have done, but you didn't leave me enough material. So if you would have left me enough knee braces, I could have knocked out all of that for you. There's 2 of those left to do. So I moved over here to the double beams, and I started finishing up their work right here. So what I've got is these pieces here, and what you do is you come in and you attach it here, which I just finished that, and you gotta attach it here, and then at the top. They had done the top, I had to finish up here and here, and then I came over here and I started getting this one in, attached it here and here, and they had done the top of that one as well. So now I've got these to do. So I grabbed some pipe outside, the shortest pieces I had, and when I stuck it up here, it actually is too long for this one, way too long for that one, too short for that one. So what I have to do is lob off some of the top of this to fit here and lob off more of that one to fit there. So now I gotta go get a chop saw so I can actually continue by cutting that and working that in. Now what you'll notice at the top, the way these are connected, they're gonna be in the way. So I gotta take those flat pieces off and put those angle pieces on the inside to attach it. And it's gonna look like this over here. So if you can see that, you put an angle piece in to hold it, and then that piece goes up flat, and then you attach it. So I'm on to doing that to try to finish that part up. Hopefully I can get that in, this gable side done. If I had the knee braces, I could finish that side, which I don't. So then I gotta work on this gable side and try to finish it as well. This is gonna be a little more difficult. As you can tell, the garage door, the bracing, the wiring and all is on this side. So this side's gonna be a little bit more difficult to do, but I'll figure something out, putting some pieces on there to give it the overall intent of having the double legs on it. All right, so that's another update of fixing the framing so it will pass inspection. All right, so far I've got most of the double supports on here. So this leg is complete, this one, this one, this one. I've got 2 left right here in the middle, and I'm cutting them now, but you'll notice they're done all the way down and secured at the top and the bottom. And the way they're secured, you got a flat piece in between, got an angle bracket here, and from the original piece, we've made angle brackets there. And I'm having to cut to length here. So this is what that looks like. Stay in there. There we go. You don't have to hold it anymore. You won't go anywhere. All right. Start that again. That's all there is to it. Now I do the same thing at the top, a flat and an angle, and it'll be good to go. It'll be done. That one anyway, and then we'll have one left right in the middle. All right, so it's Monday, April the 5th, and Abraham's here. We got some rocks dropped off. I think they're called 507 rocks. They're for the walkway right here, or driveway I should say. And his Bobcat broke down, so I just got through changing the starter on it for him. He brought me a brand new starter from Bobcat. He said it's $450. It's actually laying over there on the sidewalk now. And swapped that out real quick. Took about 5 minutes. You know me, tutor touch, knocked it out for him. So now his Bobcat's up and running. So he's getting ready to go in here and he's gonna start smoothing this out. And the dump truck's supposed to move that further back, but what are you gonna do? He dumped it before either of us got out here today. So, but that is the rock we're gonna use and make this nice little J-hook type of driveway. And that's where it's gonna allow me to drive around. So anyway, there we go. All right, it's Wednesday the 7th, about 10:30 in the morning. Last night, Abraham almost got everything completed here with the rocks. Get this grass out of here, you know, the OCD kicking in. Can't have all this grass up in here. That ain't gonna work. There we go. Okay. So we got this really wide now, so you can make the transition in and out. But what I worked on this morning is I'm trying to work on trimming it out around the building. So I grabbed my wheelbarrow and pulled around here and put rocks up against the building. So now in the walkway, it looks a little more finished now. So see, when you walk around, it's got the rocks that fill in that hole. I did all the way down. Unfortunately, this is really nice and contained with the sidewalk. This isn't, but at least it's a transition. Dirt won't splash up on my building now. So I did all the way down to the corner here. So there we go. So that's a little bit there. Obviously, see how much I need to raise up this and bring in some dirt. But for now, that's it. I'm gonna get Abraham to come in here and he's gonna finish up with the rocks that are still left over, and we're gonna try to flatten this out. But for now, take you inside the garage for now. And Edgar from Vega never did show up yesterday, but he sent one of his boys over here this morning. He's supposed to be here first thing, and he showed up about 10 o'clock. But he finally brought the metal pieces I need to finish the job he was supposed to do, which again, you can't depend on anybody these days. Vega started out really good in the beginning, and then they just fell off the cliff once they got paid, which sucks. But anyway, if you'll notice, my neon rope light, I got it turned on. It's continuous now, all the way around the perimeter. And what's funny is that's where it actually splits. That's two different ropes. There's a rope, and then that's a rope. And that's the two remote boxes over there. But you see, they're fading identically right now. Anyway, here's the hardware they brought and the knee braces that I needed, 2 of those. So I got to put a knee brace right here on the other side of the door and a knee brace right here above the electrical box. And all the knee braces will be in on both sides. I like the pollen off of this camera. So it is Wednesday, April 7th. It's about 5:45. I've been done for a little while, but I took a break, had to blow out all the damn pollen that accumulated in here over the last week. It's bad. It's not rained here in a while, so the pollen's gotten everywhere. And it's kind of warm. It's currently 84 degrees here, and with the windows open and the garage doors open, there was a breeze, so it wasn't too bad, but it is a little warm in here, so insulation's coming up. But I did schedule the framing inspection for tomorrow, and I want to show you the work I had completed today. It took a little longer than I thought because it took me a while to cut the beams, get the right length, do the L braces, do the flat braces. Of course, Edgar got me again. He didn't bring the right pieces. I told him I needed like 20 of the flat pieces and only like a handful of the L braces. But of course, he flipped that. He only brought me like 10 flat pieces and 20 L brackets. So I had to put them in my vise and flatten them out and drill them. And long story short, I fixed it. But here's the knee braces. There's the knee brace and the knee brace I needed. I put them up there. So now all the knee braces are in place. Here's the double beams. This is the beam that I added. Here's the flat plate. Here's the L. And at the top, you'll see I've got the L, the flat piece on both sides to double brace it. So there's a beam there, a beam here. So that's the double brace. I put a double brace in the middle, put a double brace on the end. So each leg has a double brace now, all the way across. Each door, there were single braces times 3. I add a double brace, it goes all the way across. So now everything is double braced just like they wanted, and all the knee braces are in place on both sides, and the double braces here. And like I explained before, the sides, the walls are already double braced, they come welded, but the double brace on the end mirrors the walls. It's where the braces are like this on this side. See how that goes? And you see I put the flat plate here and the L bracket like this. But for the garage door side, I couldn't do that because the way the door mounts and to keep it flush, that wasn't gonna work. And I didn't want to take the door off because they are adjusted and they're flush the way they're supposed to be. And this is what I'm talking about right here. See how this track is? To put this bar on here like the other one, it was gonna throw all this off. And that's just not something I want to tackle. So I think the intent to have it dual bars, this is gonna be just fine. It shouldn't matter if they're on this side or that side. Dual bars to the frame at the bottom and the top. The intent is it should match what they're looking for. All right, well, it is 4 o'clock on Thursday. The inspector didn't show up until 3:30, so I waited around all day. Luckily, I was able to work from home on my computer. But anyway, so he's a nice guy. He's been out here before. And we talked about how I ended up having to do the work on here. So I was honest with him and told him how the people at Vega just flakes at this point. Wouldn't schedule, dropped off materials, halfway showed up and did the work and then didn't come back, and I ended up doing the work, so I go ahead and schedule him. And so he approved the framing, which is good, but he almost didn't, because he said this door, this roll-up door, if you'll notice, these holes right here in the door, see how far they're spaced apart? Well, that's where you go through and you put a screw that holds the frame, okay? See, there's one here and there's one here. He says that they should be closer together. There should be another one halfway between, because there's one here, there's one down at the bottom. He's saying that they're too far apart for the wind loading. And so I told him, I tell you what, if you'd like, I'll drill an extra hole in the frame between each spot, and I'll put an extra screw in there if that'll satisfy what you're looking for. And that way we'll make sure it's extra secure. He even said he wouldn't mind seeing a sticker on the door about a wind loading like the other doors, but I told him that don't worry about it. This door's not gonna be in here forever. I'm gonna probably change out the insulated door. He said, well, you know what? Don't even worry about the sticker. If you do the extra bolts to reinforce the frame, that's what I'm concerned about. And I'll go ahead and pass your framing. I said, man, I really would appreciate that. So when he comes back for the building final, he's just gonna look at that and make sure I did what I said I'm gonna do. And he told me for the building final, I've got to get the yard landscape, which means I got to get all that dirt leveled out up here. And I've got to put some seed and straw out there. Part of that is just their visual to make sure I've got it, you know, just back to normal. And also have to make sure that the water is going to egress properly away from the building. And I told him I'm working on that on this side it was kind of puddling. I need to make sure it runs away. He says, well, I'm on the right track. So he said, other than that, everything looks great. And so the building final should be good to go, no problem, once I have those little things taken care of. He did say that it showed the deck was still open, even though he's the one that came out and inspected it, and he said it was done. He said it still showed red in their system. So he was gonna submit it again as closed out CO, and hopefully that shows on their system that it's done, because I told him there was no action on my part that I could see, because that's what held up me proceeding with this permit. So hopefully that's all done, and we can move forward. Just waiting around all day for him to show up, it kind of sucked. But either way, it's done now. I'm gonna go ahead and put some extra holes in this frame, put some more screws in it, get that taken care of right away like I told him I would, and then we can move forward. When Abraham gets here, he twisted his ankle yesterday so he couldn't come. Hopefully he can come today. We can get the yard straightened out, and that part will be done. All right. Oh, and my security camera showed up today from Best Buy. So here's what they look like. And just like that, it's completed. It's 4:30. And so what I had to do, I had to go in here and drill this hole. And then if you can see inside there, maybe it's better here, put that screw in right there. So you drill this hole so you can actually get your bit through here and then screw that in. So that's a new hole I drilled, that's a new hole I drilled, and then that's a new hole. So there's 3 new screws that I added on each side. Basically I split the difference between each of the existing holes in there. And you'll notice I actually put duct tape over the holes that they had, just to try to keep out the dust and pollen and things like that. And they're supposed to be sending me the seal that goes over top of the door sometime, hopefully this week, I can go and get it on and keep that pollen out of here. But I've taken care of what they asked me to. I've got the extra screws in here, so now we should be good to go. Now it's just getting the yard taken care of and throwing some grass seed and straw out. Once all that's done, we should be able to schedule the final. I just checked online on my permit. I'm up to 83%. The framing is passed and done, so check mark. Man, it's just such a good feeling getting this stuff out of the way.